Hello, this is Jan Cosgrove. I'm speaking again from the Bognor Regis Herald, and this is ahead of a very interesting week at Arun District Council, probably the most significant in many years. The meeting is on Wednesday. All the councillors are expected to attend, and I can expect, and you can expect, some hijinks in terms of arguments, bad temper, confusion, if it's anything like the last meeting, God help us. However, there are some big issues afoot. It starts at 6 p.m. and we shall be giving you a link to that from Arun for the webcast. If you can stand the drama, do watch from 6 p.m. on Wednesday, and I'm not sure at what point, but there are two motions which are to be discussed. When it's been decided, it's a resolution. Motions are something, as we all know, to be passed. Yes, well. So the first thing that will be in discussion, although it may not be the first one in terms of the actual order of the agenda, but the first thing I want to deal with is a motion of no confidence in the current Liberal Democrat minority administration led by veteran councillor Dr. James Walsh. He has the support of the independent group and the Greens on a case-by-case basis. One independent, Hugh Coster, is now a member of the cabinet. Lucky old us. So, what's the issue about? Well, Arun has, as we say, a cabinet system. The leader of the cabinet chooses the rest of the cabinet, and that cabinet makes the decisions, and that's scrutinised by the other councillors. In truth, in my view, a lot of the running is made by the senior paid officers, whether it was this council or the one before, the Tory majority administration. And that's been one of the problems, in my view, ever since I became a councillor. I'm not now, luckily, in 1995. So the balance of the council is extremely interesting. It's 21 Conservatives, 18 Lib Dems, 9 Independents, 2 Arun independent group who are not independent group, and then 2 independents who are not part of either of those. Are you still with me? Of course you are. 2 Greens and 1 Labour, and possibly a partridge in a pear tree at this time of year, whatever. So there we are. The Conservative leader and his deputy Sean Gunner and Paul Dundle want to see this minority administration replaced by a unity administration. So it's just a recent idea. I know that Emily Seeks wants to see this. That's one of the reasons she left the Lib Dems. Too much party infighting, etc. It's an idea that this paper and myself put forward, not last week or a week before, but as far goes last March, because we have a need for unity and working together with such a divided council in terms of seats. We need to work together because of the COVID crisis, but also because of the issues facing this town and district anyway, not least the finances of the council, which are dire and are set to get dire, as Alan Peach, the Chief Financial Officer, warned the Cabinet a couple of weeks ago. So, what does this mean? Well, if the Conservatives win and they're looking for a secret ballot, which of course would be heavily resisted, they're looking for a secret ballot because they want to see a unity administration based on people from all parties and groups, which is what I argued for. Quite how he will balance that if he's successful, I couldn't get from Sean Gunner, but I think he would have to play pretty fair. Where the Lib Dems would take part in it would be an interesting issue. James Walsh hasn't decided, he told me, so let's see. Do we need it? Yes, I think we do. These are unusual times, unusual and novel sort of radical sort of solutions. So let's watch that and see how it goes. Who will win? James Walsh says there's no doubt about it. He will. Sean Gunner is confident he will. They would say that, wouldn't they? That's in the old days. Beyond that, then, what have we got at the council? Well, all the usual shenanigans. And by the way, wait and expect confusion. procedural confusion. Most of them wouldn't know their standing orders from, well, anyway, somewhere, and they really ought to be more au fait. That's the rule book. You should actually know them, and we expect to see some more reference to those standing orders on Wednesday. I can assure you. People have been seeking my advice, would you believe? So the next motion is probably in the longer term more important to Bognor town and area, because Arun, I think, will sooner or later go. I mean, James Walsh, I think, knows that, and so does Sean Gunner. It can't survive. It'll be replaced by something else. We'll come back to that another time. But what is the regeneration motion that Hugh Coster has put forward for the council meeting? Well, put it in the context that there was a regeneration motion which was turned into a resolution, and which is now the policy of the council, at the last meeting. The Conservatives put forward, let's get regeneration going again, and specifically mentioned the Richard Hotham project, now Project Sunrise, simply because it was there and has a lot of money and has planning permission. Councillor Coster, Councillor Dixon, I know, dislike that project intensely and don't want it. Anyway, there was a call, genuine in some cases, I'm not so sure how genuine it was, for a level playing field. You must take that name of Richard Hotham out. And after a lot of banging around, that's what happened. So, and also a deadline of the 13th of November, so for all new ideas and existing ideas to be put in, including Hotham, including Jim Brooks and anyone else. So I've put one in for the Herald, a series for the Herald, some nice ideas, like a seafront battery tram illuminated at night, but there's a lot of others. You can read it in the Herald, along with stuff about the fight that's coming and all the rest of it. So what does Hugh Coster want? He wants this to be dealt with in a strategic manner, he assures me, in 3 phases. Now, one thing you can't do is amend a motion for 6 months or put a new one that contradicts it for 6 months after it's been passed. And so that's the first test. And I've challenged the solicitor, Arun, the monitoring officer, as he's called, on this matter. What Coster wants is the first phase to be some sort of leisure facility, entertainment facility, which doesn't conflict with the Alexandra Theatre on the Regis Centre. He wants it on Hothampton, on the sunken gardens and the play area. Note, not, as far as I can see, on the car park itself. Now, I said to Hugh, that must be the dome you proposed some time ago. Oh, not necessarily, he told me. Look, Hugh, there are bells on it, but don't bother to pull it. It's just not true, and you should declare an interest. The second phase of his proposal is that there should be a hotel put on in at one end of the Regis Centre to move Whitbread or someone off their site at the moment. Well, that would kill Tom Elliott's project, the Project Sunrise, to immediately. So would the idea for Hothampton. Now, I think that's what they're trying to do, to have a second go at removing the Project Sunrise, the Richard Hotham project, from the agenda. This has been done by Arun under the last administration and this administration very sort of pointedly for the last 5 years. These people have £90 million of money. They have full planning permission, which was obtained against Arun's wishes by the government inspector. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you. The officers who really run the show have the idea that they want piecemeal redevelopment, which Councillor Coster's ideas are actually promoting. Piecemeal redevelopment, not proper regeneration with a huge influx of money. Why? Well, you can speculate. One thing is that there's a very low vision for Bognor. It can't attract that sort of money. I've seen that said, and they've been encouraged in that by another developer who put a proposal into the 2015 consultation, which I think Arun officers have been following, despite it not being the policy of the council that we should have proper regeneration. Outside of that, there's a third phase, all the other ideas somewhere in the future, That's my idea, that's Richard Hotham, which couldn't go ahead, and others. Also rans, as I call them. Do you know, it's a bloody cheek, isn't it? The council spends all that time, and you get up and down, jump up and down about a level playing field, and then you try to rig it. And that's all it is, rigging it. So, your bottom wire, Richard Hotham doesn't get a look in, and also that you get your pet scheme through. Hey, I put my ideas and other people's ideas into that 13th of November deadline. So has Jim Brooks, so has Tom Elliott at Project Sunrise, I'm sure others have. So why don't you, Hugh Coster and you lot there, withdraw this motion and put your ideas there. Secondly, you hadn't the manners or even the proper sort of sense of what you should have done to put it into the Bognor Regis Regeneration Subcommittee. This is using your councillor position to push a particular advantage, and I find it discreditable, and I hope other people will too. Bad show. We do not need piecemeal redevelopment. We need a proper regeneration that brings people and their money to this town. And by the way, I am well aware that a major international hotel and leisure company has indicated it wants to be part of a regeneration, not piecemeal redevelopment, by putting a 100-bed hotel and allied facilities on the Regis Centre site as part of a regeneration. Stick that in your pipe. I know who they are. Your handling of between you all of the London Road lorry park proposals has been appalling, and I hope that Sean Dunner, if he's made leader, will immediately address that as well. Well, there we are. Keep watching. We'll be back to you in a reasonable time. Cheers now. Bye.